What is the secret to happiness? It is the common asked question when it comes to, the meaning to life, the purpose of existence and all this. But happiness is kind of overrated. It's not. Last time I checked, I don't think it's a virtue, is it? Because it's not something you can do. You can't do happiness. So really we should be aiming for beauty and virtue. But what is this kind of secret happiness though? How do we get close to it? How do we feel it on a more permanent level? And I think it's all about gratitude. Many people confuse themselves into believing, when it comes to gratitude and happiness and all of this, that happiness brings them gratitude, which causes them to externally chase after happiness so that they can finally feel content with their lives. But in more of an actual fact, it is gratitude that brings us happiness. Because it'd be those moments in the day when we're grateful, and suddenly we have this insight of gratitude. I'm like, I'm so grateful for this. That brings content and contentment and a sense of happiness, right? We should instead be expressing and receiving gratitude. It is the origin, you could say, of all positivity. It is the healthiest of all human emotions and expressions. In a sense, it's kind of a superpower when we look at it neuroscientifically. And I'll get to that in a moment. People's unhappiness, therefore we can say, kind of stems from their lack of gratitude, their lack of communion, you could say, and recognition of the divine, which leads to ingratitude manifesting itself through pride. And now this is super interesting because this is kind of the story of Satan. This is the origin story of Satan. For example, the manifestation of pride through ingratitude was Satan's greatest and original sin, which began his downfall and demise from the heavens. Ingratitude through the manifestation of pride. He didn't want to be a kind of lower tier angel from God, or the positions or the hierarchies of God's angels. And he rebelled. He was ungrateful. He couldn't look around himself and look, wow, what an amazing opportunity and situation I have been given by God. So he rebelled. He couldn't see that, and he rebelled, and then he was cast out of heaven. And then he just carried this resentment with himself. And that is the existence of Satan and evil. This, for example. So why is it a superpower, as I'm saying? The daily practice of gratitude leads, scientifically, to less stress, improves quality of sleep, builds emotional awareness, correlated to increasing vitality, energy, and enthusiasm to work hard as an individual. Receiving or expressing gratitude increases dopamine and serotonin release in the brain. Gratitude practice is also associated to activating the hippocampus and, how do you say that? Amygdala? Some parts of the brain, which aid towards emotional regulation in the brain, acting as basically a natural antidepressant. So it's basically an unending list of benefits. But society conditions us to always focus on the negative. One society at least, it manufactures ingratitude. It's super interesting. Because it always makes us focus on the negative, miserable, problematic news or aspects. So the external news or aspects of our own lives, while at the same time, society forces us to run on the 9-to-5 hamster wheel of unproductive non-presence. So what I mean by that is okay, yeah, we have these jobs, these 9-to-5 work cycle jobs, but it doesn't manufacture a sense of presence. We're always chasing after the dollar bills. We're always chasing after the money that is within these jobs. We're always thinking in the future with these things, so we're never present. And presence is needed for gratitude. So this creates a lifestyle that opposes the existence of gratitude in our lives and inevitably increases our dissatisfaction with life. So we're more miserable, we're more negative. And think of it, like when someone is complaining about something, they're never really present. And complaint about life, as we so constantly complain about, because we always are complaining, everyone is, and when it becomes like a compulsive behaviour, it's like we are complaining because we're either thinking about the past or thinking about the future, so a regret or some sort of thing that we're disappointed about. And therefore we're focusing either the past or the future, and therefore the focus on one of those is not being present. We're not being present when we are complaining about things, or if we are being miserable about something, or we're being that kind of way with life, And gratitude, the practice of gratitude, maintains our ability to be on the middle path and on the sense of presence with ourselves in the present reality. If we're more present within reality, we are less likely going to be reactive. We're going to be more knowing of our behaviours, we're going to be more self-aware. So when it comes down to gratitude, it's a fundamental necessity to practice. And one way I try to practice it as much as I can is when I pray. And when I go to church, I try to go to a place that has a sense of sacredness to it. And I try to practice gratitude through prayer. And you have a lot of people talk about like gratitude through self-help, But it really has to be from outside of yourself. Like this focus of self-help, there's something wrong with it, because it's not all about yourself or your ability of self to give you help. Because the best form of help that you will find, or a lot of people will find, will be through things that are outside themselves when it comes to morality, a guiding star, God itself. A set of rules that are going to keep you aligned to God, and keep you consistent with living through a strong sense of integrity and morality. That's what is going to be much more powerful for someone than just self-help. Because if we just read self-help books and, let's say affirmations to ourselves, it's kind of empty. It's not really true. It's not towards the highest good if we're like just repeating affirmations to ourselves about certain things, when we could just be displaying and putting out our gratitude to God through prayer or through some sort of practice like that. I believe at least that will be a much more healthy thing to do, is to identify the existence of God and express your gratitude towards those things in which He has given you. And doing that consistently is life-changing, because it takes effort to do that. It takes effort to recognise the good in your life. Because we don't do it. We recognise the bad, or the perceived bad, and we just complain about it, So it's really important to recognise the good, because that increases the self-awareness of what we have. How lucky we have it. How good we have life itself in many areas of existence, right? And that is very grounding. So what I find very interesting about prayer is that it's based on self-awareness, it's based on gratitude, it's based on being humble, giving yourself to God, submitting yourself to God. And that's again something that I think is very much perceived in a negative way as well, this idea of giving yourself to God or submitting to God. That's definitely deemed like a bad thing by a lot of people, because they're like, oh, submitting, oh, don't submit, you are your own individual, go get it out the world, go put yourself out there or whatever. But there's only a degree of that is necessary or needed. It gets to a point where the opposite is neglected, and that needs to be reminded of. So if you find this video interesting, guys, if this resonated with you, You can learn how to apply effective methods of practicing gratitude into your life through my anti-procrastination program, if that is something you're interested in, where you can jump on a discovery call with me and we could just have a really nice conversation about just where you're at with life, where you want to go, and to see how I can apply the solutions that I have developed and come to learn and understand through psychology, philosophy, religion, to the problems that you may have yourself, whether it be regarding self-esteem, bad habits, social anxiety in general, how to apply methods to break out of and develop good habits and things of this nature. And of course, self-limiting beliefs, another big thing I think that's foundational to a lot of our problems, is conditioning, behavioral conditioning with regards to growing up and developing self-limiting beliefs, which literally limit our potential, and ways to get out of that. So if you're interested in that, guys, make sure to click the link in the description and you can book a free call with me, or you can also check out the mini course on unlocking the mechanics of individuation, which is definitely worth a watch, as that is also free as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll speak to you in the next one.